All right, guys. I'm sorry that I'm not there today. We have some IM1 meetings over at Oakmont today. I feel really bad. I wish I could be there to help, but you'll be fine. I went through and wanted to talk about example 2 from yesterday just a little bit more again because we were a little bit rushed at the end there. What I had done was I put the 6 possible cards up here, right? We have the 3 yellow cards, the 2 blue cards, and the purple cards. So that is 6 cards total. We numbered them to differentiate between the 3 yellow cards because they are separate yellow cards and separate blue cards. Now, does the action of choosing the first card affect the action of choosing the second card? We're going to say yes, because we are not going to replace the card. So once you pull a card, you're not putting it back into the person's hand. You're keeping it and then drawing the second card. Now, this is what's called without replacement. Okay. Now, the list that we created up on the board looks something like this. This is what's called a sample space. It just represents all of the possible outcomes. So this first row here were all of the possibles, drawing of 2 cards if you were to draw yellow 1 first. So you could draw yellow 1 first, and then you could draw yellow 2, yellow 3, blue 1, blue 2, or purple 1. All the way down to this last row here, if you draw purple 1 first, well, your possible outcomes after drawing the first purple card is either going to be one of the 3 yellow cards or one of the 2 blue cards afterwards. Okay. Now, we use this sample space to help us answer question number 3. Use the sample space to determine the probability of randomly choosing a yellow card first or a blue card second. So the formula that we came up with here looked like this. So we're going probability of A or B is equal to the sum of A plus B minus the and portion, probability of A times probability of B. And what that looked like was this. So we consider the probability of A being the yellow cards. Well, that's everything in the blue here. That's 15 out of 30. And separately, we consider the probability of drawing a blue card. Okay, and the probability of drawing a blue card is 10 in 30. A blue card second, I should say. Drawing a blue card second. What is the probability of pulling a blue card second? Well, I've outlined all of those 10 in pink here. Okay, so that's 10 out of 30. And you can see we actually count these 6, right? These 6 right here are counted twice. They're counted when we counted the first time with the yellow cards, and they're counted again when we consider the second card being pulled blue. So we have to subtract out the overlap, or 6 out of 30. Now, some were a little bit confused about, okay, well, how does that work with the actual formula? How does that work with the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B? Is that 6 over 30? Well, if you check this, what is the probability of A? Well, it's this probability of drawing a yellow card. It is 15 out of 30. Okay, now here's what's really, really important. And we actually met as a math department yesterday, and one of the main topics was this question. Okay, this right here, and let me highlight it. This right here, whenever we're doing the and portion of the probability, this we have to consider jointly. Okay, I'm going to type that out. We are going to consider jointly, okay? Meaning that when we consider the second probability, we have to assume that the first has already occurred. Okay, now what that means is if we have pulled a yellow card first, there's a 1 and 2 probability here, 15 out of 30. But if we don't replace that yellow card, there are now only 5 options here, right? There's only 5 cards to choose from. So what's the probability that the second card that you draw is going to be a blue card? Well, it's going to be 2, the 2 blue cards that are still in that person's hand out of the 5 total. And if you multiply those 2 together, you get 2/10, which is equal to 1/5, which is 6 out of 30. 6 out of 30 is also equal to 1/5. So when you're doing the and part, you have to consider this jointly, or in other words, you have to consider them depending on each other. They are not independent events. Now, the beginning part here, you do consider as independent events. So we have 15 out of 30 and we have 10 out of 30. But when you consider the and part here, you have to consider those as dependent, jointly considered events. Okay. Hopefully that helps a little bit. What is the probability of randomly choosing a yellow card first? Well, that's 15 out of 30. Probability of choosing a blue card second? Well, that's 10 out of 30. And then once again, just like we talked about up above, it's kind of repetitive here, but what is the probability of A and B? Once again, if we jointly consider these things, the probability of drawing a yellow card first would be 1/2, or it's 15 out of 30, right? Which reduces to 1/2, multiplied by 2 out of 5. Again, this person has 5 cards remaining in their hand after you've pulled that yellow card first. 2 of them are blue, so that's 2 out of 5 chance there, which reduces to multiplies the product is 2/10, which reduces to 1/5. Now, once again, what is the probability of randomly choosing a yellow card first or a blue card second? So we're going to go 1/2 plus 2/5 minus the 1/5. Sorry, mid thought, I realized that I had that backwards. So we have to consider these first two parts separately, right? So we're going to go probability of a yellow card, that's 1/2. Probability of a blue card second, that is 1/3, minus the overlap of 1/5, and that comes out to 63.3%. Now, I would just take this and input it into Google or input it into Desmos Scientific, and it's going to spit out 63.3%, which is the same as what we did up here. Again, I know this is repetitive, but here we are looking at the sample space and answering the questions, and then here we were just kind of using the formulas. Go through this, mess around with it. It's going to take some practice to kind of get comfortable, but watch this video a couple times, play around and see if you can kind of get the hang of it. Go through those day 2 notes now at this point. The day 2 notes, I think, are going to go a little bit smoother than these notes. And then give the day 3 notes a try, because we will not be there again tomorrow. And then Thursday, we'll pick up all those pieces and make sure that we're all in good shape. You guys are awesome. I'll see you soon.